Welcome to Bill the Drone Reviewer Podcast, Episode 41, Rotor Talk Live, Christmas 2019 Drone Buyer's Guide. Got that coming up next. The other night, Marcus Crawford, Ron Braun, and I hosted Rotor Talk Live. For the entire show, we did something a little bit different. We presented our annual 2019 Christmas Drone Buyer's Guide. So without any further ado, let's roll the broadcast in its entirety. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live. Guess what time of year it is, folks?
Christmas?
It could be. It could very well be. Santa will be coming and riding his sleigh in what? I don't even know what time it is. Okay. All right. Or day it is. I'm sorry.
In 22 days he'll be here, Bill.
22 days. Thank you, Ron.
Countdown.
That's what I was waiting for. Santa will be making his way down the chimney in 22 days. Ron Braun, how are you this evening?
Doing well, Bill. It's a little chilly here in New Jersey, but we're hanging in there. We had a nice dry day, and things are going well. How about you, Bill? How's things down in sunny Florida?
Well, it wasn't so sunny this morning, Ron. I told Valerie, I said, I think Florida's canceled. It was 41 degrees this morning. So, yeah. Marcus, how are you on this Tuesday evening?
Well, it was a foggy day for most of the day here in Idaho. And I went to a funeral this morning, and it seemed like appropriate weather for that.
Well, yeah, that's never a good thing to go to a funeral. And just, for me personally, it makes me value my friends, my friendship, my family, health, all that kind of good things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And saying, and passing on remembrances to the family of the loved ones. So, yeah, we're starting with all that. Okay. Well, we got a full slate on tap tonight, and we're going to do something a little bit different. Okay. We're going to give you our drone buyer's guide for Christmas this year. And I thought, what a better way to do that. I've been meaning to do this, and I thought, what a better way to do that than tonight on Rotor Talk Live. And all these drones that we're going to talk about tonight, probably Marcus has probably owned every one of them, but I know Ron has owned most of them, and I've owned most of them or have flown most of them. So without any further ado, we're going to jump into it. Now, the first thing that I want to cover here, Lauren, did I go for coffee? No, I kind of had a little pop out there for a second. I don't know what happens. I'm going to welcome some people here before we get going. Lauren's in the house tonight. Drone Master's here. Art's in the house. Welcome, Art. Steve Mack. Let's see who else. RC Master. Talman Murphy Jr. Joe's Drone Life. Joe, welcome. Glad to see you around. All right. First thing we're going to cover tonight, and this is going to be the only thing that I won't say it's off topic, but there's been some more news regarding Skydio 2. And a lot of people were concerned that they weren't taking orders. And I think Marcus cleared that up, I think, with his post out there that, Skydio is indeed taking orders. He went through all the way up through before he actually hit the buy button just to test it, and it was working there. So that is working. Now, one of the things is apparently, they sent out an email and it was discussed about how, basically the theme of the email was patience here. Okay. Well, my friend David from Kluge Tech Time, who he has a great channel. You guys need to check him out sometime. He got an email from Skydio. Now, he was one of the fortunate ones to get his order fulfillment email. He paid for it. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. And we're going to take a look at what this email was. Let's go ahead here. Okay. All right. Thank you for completing your Skydio 2 order. This is a quick update to let you know that your order is almost ready to go. You can expect an email from us in the next 24 to 48 hours of tracking information. We're sorry for the delay in getting your order out the door, and we very much appreciate your support and patience. Skydio support standing by if you have any questions. Okay. Just real briefly, what are your thoughts about this, guys? I mean, I have some thoughts, but Marcus, Go for it.
Yeah, well, I just think that there's a lot of things going on with Skydio. They're building a new product, so they're just starting in manufacturing. And anybody that's been involved with manufacturing knows how many things can go awry in the supply chain, quality of components, assemblies, a lot of things. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm willing to give Skydio the benefit of the doubt because, like my friend Ron Brown says, when I get my Skydio, I want it to be fully cooked.
Ron, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think maybe right here in this show, and some show we were on together, Bill, I asked you, I think it was still October. I said, the Skydio was supposed to come in November, and I asked you, did you think it would be near the beginning, the middle, or the end? And I was the pessimist, and I thought, well, we wouldn't hear a peep out until November 30th. Well, I was not a pessimist, I was the optimist. It's December 3rd now, and we finally get an email letting us know that there is a production delay, and that things are going to ship slower than they expected. And I mean, they're late by their own numbers. It's not anything anybody else was holding them to. They said they would have it out in November. So it's just kind of odd, Bill, don't you think, that in the drone community, it seems all drone manufacturers are late in time of delivering products. Now, Marcus, like when Chevy announces a new Corvette to come out in, we'll say September 1st, does that Corvette arrive 2 months late?
Hey, there's been multiple delays with that Corvette. And not only that, development delays too, right? They were ready to start production and they found problems with the frame, many other things. So like I said, anybody that's been involved in any kind of manufacturing understands those things that happen.
Right. So, I mean, again, they're a startup company, so we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We're going to, give them a break on all this. And, I just preach the practice patience. I was happy to see that email this morning. My big complaint is that when a company misses their ship time or any time thing, don't just leave us hanging out there. At least contact us, let us know something. And I think that's the most important thing that happened today, Bill. We got information.
Ron, I couldn't agree more. And I agree with both what you had to say and what Marcus had to say. I think it was important that Skydio got out there and they let us know. And if you guys remember and go back to when last February, Autel Evo was basically introduced at CES. And then in February, it was out on the FCC grant ID database. So we thought, it's imminent, and I'm talking to Ken Dono and he says, yeah, should be any day kind of. He said they were tight-lipped at CES, but he thinks it can be any day. Any day ended up being, I think, late June, early July before they got out with that. So, and they were quiet the whole time. They had no communication. They just were silent. And here with Skydio, they're informing us and they're letting us know things, which I think is great. And there is what I can say, a lot of excitement, because I know Marcus's group is growing. My group is growing by leaps and bounds. And people are excited about this drone, and with good reason and with good cause. And one of the things that I just want to say before we go on to the main subject tonight, I think people are going to be very impressed with this drone. And I think it's going to be worth the wait. I think as long as we keep that in mind, good things are worth waiting for. My mom used to say, and she's always right. And I think in this case, this is what we're going to go with. Okay. So tonight, what we're going to do tonight is something different. What I wanted to do was go over a series of drones that Ron, Marcus, and I have either flown or owned or both, and give you our opinions of them as a guide for Christmas, for buying the season. Because I know a lot of people, put out like a drone buyer's guide. And I thought, what a better way to do it than to ask two of the best experts on YouTube about some of these fantastic drones here. So without any further ado, we're going to go to the first one. Now, I'm going to share the screen and then we're going to flip back here. Now, and you're gonna excuse my handy dandy graphics here. I threw these on a Word doc last night. Okay, now the first one here, near and dear to our heart, from all members of ZinoNation. Okay, we're gonna talk about the Hubsan Zino. Now it's currently $299 at Banggood. I didn't do an exhaustive search last night, guys. I didn't get into the spreadsheet like Marcus does, but I went out and that's what I saw off the top of my head. Okay, $299 for this drone. Ron and Mark, and we're not talking about the Pro. We're just talking about the regular Hubsan Zino. Gentlemen, you both have owned it. You both have flown it. What's your opinion of the Hubsan Zino?
Well, I'll let Ron go first.
Oh, thank you, Marcus. I'll just add in that the price is like the stock market. That price can be different every day you look at it on the Zino, but the prices were hurt by the tariffs. I mean, before the tariffs hit, you were seeing the Zino in the low 200s. I mean, I've seen it 225 or lower before the tariffs hit. Now the price seems to be bouncing back up a little bit again. And when you see those tremendous deals on Banggood and GearBest, if you click all the way through, it's usually not for U.S. customers. So the Zino is a little bit more expensive than it was a couple months back, but it's still a solid drone. Great for beginners. It's still probably the cheapest entry level drone with a 4K camera and a combination 3-axis gimbal, and that actually provides a good quality video. So I still think it's the cheapest way in the market for a good camera drone. But since the price has edged back up to $299, now it's only $100 lower than the Mavic Mini, which kind of makes it a tougher sell because even though the Zino is a fine drone in its own way, it has the downside that it takes you forever to get it shipped from China if you have to have it shipped from China. If you can get a U.S. warehouse, and that takes that out. But you also, the problem is you have virtually very little support for it from either the person that sold to you or Hubsan, where with the Mavic Mini, you have support from DJI and the retailer you bought it from, say Amazon or Best Buy. So I'm going to throw it to Marcus at this point.
Okay. So you guys are going to need to have patience because, as you know, I have a lot to say about the Zino. That's why I let Ron go first. Listen, so I've got a little confession to make. When the Mavic Mini came out, and I told this to Ron, I said, listen, guy, I don't know. This is making the Zino obsolete for me, this Mavic Mini. I'm thinking, am I going to be flying the Zino much now that I have the Mini? What I found out is, yeah, the answer is yes, I'm going to still be flying the Zino. There are many things that it does better than the little Mavic Mini. Both great drones, love them both. But the Zino, for instance, the orbit mode, and it has more intelligent flight mode features, and it has a good, solid Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, the range is only 1 kilometer, but within that kilometer, it's a very, very solid connection. It's just a good, solid, reliable drone. And like Ron says, the price changes. The tariffs evidently have made a difference. I thought I saw it on GearBest. I think you could get it in the US for $249, but don't quote me on that because the prices have been changing a lot. And the other thing that I will say about the Zino is, whoever buys that drone needs to have, I'm not even saying they need to have technical ability, but they have to have the ability to follow instructions. And that is to say, it doesn't automatically do the firmware updates and stuff like other drones do. And like I said, you don't have to be a big technician to do it, but you do have to be able to follow instructions and do things in a certain way. And if you're comfortable with that, at that price point, it's an amazing piece of technology and does a lot of things really well. And that 4K camera is really, really good on that thing. And they developed it beyond, I think, what for sure I know either Ron or I thought possible. So anyway.
Hey, Marcus, throw in one last thing that you also, if you want to do the updates, you're going to need a Windows-based computer.
That's a good point. You will not update with, and that's an issue, Ron. I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people that buy that drone, they may not even have a computer. They've just got a mobile device of some kind, and you can't do those updates.
Marcus, can we clarify for the people out there? I know I don't want to segue to the Zino 2, but does the Zino 2 update with the phone?
You're talking about the
Zino Pro. Sorry, the Pro.
Yeah.
The Zino
Yeah.
Pro. Does that update with the phone app?
My understanding is the Zino Pro can do its own updates through the app. Don't quote me on that, though. I am not 100% positive. So if there's anybody in the chat that has
if Gorilla Man shows up, we'll get him to
well,
comment.
and in fact, Drone Reviews is out there. Brian's out there. He would know. But I thought I was told that, yeah, it updates through the app, which is a good thing.
Right.
All right, gentlemen. Is this a good buy for Christmas? Thumbs up.
I would say, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Well, again, I'm going to say yes with a hedge, because if you're giving to somebody that never owned a drone before, they're not going to be used to the fact that they have no support or service outside of joining Facebook groups and whatever. So that's going to throw some people off. They're not going to be. And again, if they get a bad one under the tree, not being able to call and get it replaced is going to be a problem. So, in other words, Bill, the old saying, buyer beware.
Okay. All right.
Good
We're
point.
gonna move on to drone number 2 here for the night. Okay. Now I know this one's near and dear to
Hold
Marcus.
it, Bill. You didn't give us your opinion, brother.
My well, you know what? Okay, my opinion is based on your opinion, because that happens to be a drone on this list that I have not flown or touched or have seen. Okay. But I am anxious. I would love to fly one. And if it were in the budget, I'm probably going to wait. And I'm probably going to wait for when the 2 comes out, because I like the ability, being able to update on the app and some of these other things. Not that I can't follow instructions. I think, and I think DJI's kind of got us spoiled that way. Okay. As far as that's concerned. Now this drone that we're going to talk about here, and I definitely have an opinion on this one. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this shared. Now I know this one is near and dear to Marcus's heart.
Oh,
it's the FIMI X8 SE, currently at $438 at Alibaba. That was the lowest price I could find when I did a quick search last night. Okay. Now, I know Ron doesn't have it, and I don't have it, and we know our friend Marcus has it. And Marcus, the first thing I got to ask you is this, okay? You had, it was right out of the gate. I think it was your first flight, and you had disaster happen.
Oh my God, yeah. It a prop came apart and it crashed. I was very, very fortunate. It was about probably 20 feet off the ground, and as it crashed, it tumbled onto soft grass. So it really didn't damage anything other than the bad prop. So that was a really kind of an auspicious start to my relationship with the FIMI X8. And much like the Hubsan Zino, that drone was pretty raw at first. The firmware wasn't complete. A lot of the functions of the drone didn't work as advertised. But what I'll say about FIMI is kind of like Hubsan. I think they were kicking out firmware updates even faster than what Hubsan did. And the FIMI updates automatically through the app. So it's really kind of a painless way to do it. And it has evolved into just a really phenomenal piece. I really like that drone. And at the price, I've actually seen it. I think it was either GearBest or Banggood had it for like $408, Bill. And I went and looked, and it would ship to the U.S. So,
okay. Well, one of the things, and I'll let Ron comment on this too, because I'm sure he does have an opinion. There have been a lot of incidents of this falling out of the sky for other customers, and your friend. Oh, what's his name?
Kolsky Drones had an issue.
Kolsky Drones had an issue with it.
Bermuda Bob and better off with the drone.
Well, That's the Zino I think you're talking about.
Oh,
there.
yeah. I'm sorry. I switched to Zeno. Sorry.
Did Al Duran have it when his
Alderan had one fall
yeah,
from
that's
the
the
sky.
one I saw. That's the one I was thinking of too.
There's a point to be made there. He did have aftermarket props on it. So,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and I don't
Okay.
think we've really determined what happened there. But to your point, there have been a number of issues with it. And so that's just a good point to bring up. There are people that have had problems.
Ron, what's your thoughts about the FIMI X8?
Well, I may be getting one in here for review in the near future, so I'll be able to give you more thoughts later on. I do just want to throw a couple things in. Much like the Zino, that price you could have put up could change by the day. Again, like stock market, every time you look at that, the price may be different. So, it could go anywhere from what Mark is about, a little over 400 to over 500 or whatever. You can see the price difference by almost $100. By Marcus's strong review and some other people, that may be the pick if you can get it just a little bit above $400. But we come back in the same thing as the Zino when you compare this. I hate to bring the Mavic Mini up early, whatever, but for about the same price as the Mini, you could get the FIMI for just a little bit more, and you get a lot more on the spec sheet than you do in the Mini, but you lose that reliability and that thing that if you have an issue, you can return it easily or whatever. So I mean, here's I'm just asking a hypothetical because I don't want not putting anybody in a spot, but how in terms of dollars, how much is that worth? The ability to easily return a product or whatever, or a drone. How much do you factor that in? Is that $50 worth of goodness, $100 worth of goodness? That's what somebody has to come up with. How important is the ability to easily return a defective drone? And again, I'm not asking to put a thing. That's just something everybody has to keep in mind. How much is that worth it to them?
That's true. And I think Ron brought up a good point with the Zino. Okay. And because I want to get some recommendations here, and then we're going to move on to our next drone. Keep in mind, when you're dealing with companies like GearBest and Banggood and, these companies in Alibaba over in China, their customer service is, let's just be blunt, it's non-existent. Okay. And if you get a dud, I mean, if you get one Christmas morning, open it up, fire it up, everything, and it's a dud, okay, then, it's a long process to try to get another one. All right. So,
in other words, your loved one's going to be very disappointed.
Right.
For a long time, your loved one's going to be disappointed.
Absolutely. So, here's mine. I'm gonna say for me right now, I would say I'm kind of like I'm going to be neutral on this one. I can't say I'm going to recommend it. I can't say I'm not going to recommend it. So, Ron, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna here's my thoughts. If like at Christmas time, sometimes when you're buying gifts for somebody else, I'm gonna maybe give a thumbs down on the Zino and the FIMI because of the customer return issue. If it's for a gift, especially for a gift for a loved one. But if but at Christmas, you buy a lot of stuff for yourself, everything. So, but if you're buying for yourself, then I give you a whole different rating. If you're buying the Zino or the FIMI for yourself, and the risk going in, you know that this may happen. There's not maybe I won't say the big chance to happen, but there is a chance it's happening. So the risk. I think they're both good buys. In fact, probably the Zino is a little bit better value than the Mini, and the FIMI. I'm going to point to the Mavic Pro because it's the closest thing I have to the FIMI X8. It offers it offers a lot more than the Mini has. So, but again, if you're buying for yourself, I recommend both of them. If you're buying for a loved one on Christmas, I'd go with the other drones you see here, the Mini and the Paradinafi.
Marcus, your thoughts?
Yeah. So listen, I'm not going to be quite as severe as Ron. Like the FIMI, when I had that crash, boy, they were in touch with me the whole time, and in fact on Facebook they put me in touch with their support staff. They were willing to send me another drone, and that was very early on. And in fact, I know people like Kolsky, they have sent them replacement drones. Oh, Gorilla Man, they sent him a replacement drone. as well. So it's not like they don't have any customer service. And I think Hubsan, in fact, I know Hubsan has sent people replacement drones too. Kolsky got one, etc., working through their tech department. So it's not completely out of the question.
Right.
Although,
right. I just want to stop you just for a second, Marcus, but it's not.
Well, let me finish, Ron. Let me finish.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. I just don't want to not get back to this. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish. I would say all that probably didn't happen in a couple of days. It didn't. Okay. You get a bad Mavic Mini on Christmas Day. For your loved one, you return to Best Buy the next day and get them a good one, right? Okay. If you get a bad this on Christmas Day, and you have to contact them, is it a week? Is it a month? Is it 2 months or whatever before you actually have the working model in your hand?
Okay, I'm done.
Well, okay, and I think just to just as the point here, and I'm just going to say this, and then we'll move on to the next drone. Bear in mind, this is if Ron made a good point, if you're buying it for yourself versus buying it for a Christmas gift, and and just for me, okay, I would probably buy both the Zino. I'm going to wait probably for the Zino too. And, that Femi is looking awfully attractive. And if I have some extra money, I'd probably end up buying that. But we're going to move on to the next drone here. Okay. Now, this one, I believe all of us have owned it at this time. I'm not sure about Ron, but I'm pretty sure Marcus has. The DJI Rise Tello. Okay. Currently, right now, it's $79 on DJI.com, and probably some other retailers too have it at about that price. It is under $100. So, gentlemen, your thoughts on the Rise Tello?
It's a nice toy. I've flown mine all of once, and I know a lot of people like those kind of drones. I'm just not into toy drones. I think it's right. It's DJI quality. It's a great product, and if you like tooling around inside your house and for kids, yeah, I think it's awesome. And there again, you get that DJI quality and customer service.
Ron.
I've always been intrigued by the Tello, and I've always avoided buying it for no other reason than I thought, well, I'd have it and I'd fly it for a little while and I'd never fly it again. But I think it'd be a good holiday gift because, again, you pick it up at Best Buy, you can take it back, So no, I'd recommend it for a first-time drone user or a younger person. I don't know what the age is. You should get somebody a drone, but the younger end of the drone range, I think it's again, I've never flown it, but I've seen too many videos that even talk about when people have flown it. And again, it seems like good drone. Bill, you had to tell for sure.
Yes, I did. My good friend Ian Jones from over in Southeast England, when we met, he got that for me as a gift, and I enjoyed it. It was very easy to get up in the air, and I think it's probably a great drone for, I would say, like around 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds. Okay. Because I think the Mavic Mini, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I think you probably want to be a little bit older than 10, but I think this is the perfect drone for someone who's very young. One of the things I can say, it does take fantastic still pictures. I cannot be more impressed with still pictures. The video quality on it leaves a lot to be desired, of course, because there's no image stabilization, nothing like that. It is a stable drone when it takes off. It will hover in place. It does have the optical flow sensor on the bottom. So, all in all, for $79, I think for an entry-level drone, I think it's a good Christmas gift, especially, for like a teenager, somebody who wants to learn to fly. You can end up getting a controller to use with it. So I give it a thumbs up. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one here. Now, this is something that is near and dear to all of us right now, without a doubt. Okay. The Mavic Mini. Okay. Yeah, we have seen our share of the Mavic Mini, all three of us. And Marcus, your thoughts? I know you were the one who probably had to wait the most to get yours.
Well, actually, I actually, mine ended up only being a day late. I ended up with it on the 12th. And kudos to Best Buy. They actually overnighted it from their warehouse in Kentucky or something like that. You know, my only gripe was I wish they'd have communicated a little bit better. But that said, what a phenomenal piece of technology. DJI always just blows us away. And the darn thing, when you have it in the air, and I'm not talking about on a windy day, because we all know it's not as powerful of a drone, but when you have that thing in the air, often it flies like its bigger brother, the Mavic 2. That's how the sticks feel. That's how precise it flies. And you know, the camera, nobody's ever going to confuse it with the Mavic 2 Pro, but it takes damn good video. And the point is that it is a drone that if you buy it and you don't like it, you can take it back to Best Buy. You can buy it at the Apple Store. The Apple Store will take it back. And of course, DJI has customer service as well. So yeah, what's not to like about that guy? And the price point, I think, is perfect for that product.
Yeah, good comments, Marcus. And I saw our buddy DeMarco Moore asked in the chat whether the Tell had GPS, and you answered it didn't. But correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't that have the what do you call it? The sensors where it keeps it in place?
That optical flow.
It has the optical flow, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, in the house, it's amazingly stable. I mean, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
It's a better indoor drone, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I know we moved on to the Mini, but back to Bill's thing about the camera. I imagine the camera quality, again, doesn't compare to the other DJI drones, but in that price range of under $100 drones is probably one of the leaders in camera qualities in under $100. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. But back to the Mini. I agree with everything, basically Marcus said about the Mini. Again, I pretty much agree with everything he said. How about camera? Let's do this. Have camera quality. You have all three. Do you think the Mini is significantly better or worse than the Zino or the Fimi X8? And we know it doesn't have 4K, but besides the 4K issue.
So Ron, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up, because you know who just put up a great video on that?
Who?
Was Gorilla Man.
Gorilla Man.
Yeah, and he flew all three of them, and he flew them all three in the same spot. It was one of the best comparisons of the video for me. And you know what? That little Mini is way sharper than the other two. The video is sharper. Now the color is flatter, right? It isn't as saturated as either the X8 or the Zino. But when you look at the detail that comes out of that 2.7K, it's amazing, and is even more impressive about that drone.
And I see we have our video master, Ethan Mitchell, in the house with us tonight, just to let Ethan know that of the three drones, only the Fimi X8 has a LOD profile for somebody that really wants to get in there and put the video through its paces in a Final Cut or Premiere, with the Zino and the Mini don't have like a LOD profile. But so that's one thing in there. But yeah, I don't have the Fimi X8, but the Zino and the Mavic Mini video, they're both good. I mean, I don't know which one I'm going to tell you is better. Again, throwing out that the Mini doesn't have 4K. Here's Marcus. Here's a question that I want to ask you. Picture, not video, but just picture wise. To me, the pictures in the Mini are far superior than the pictures you get out of the Zino.
Oh, the Zino for sure. I don't know that I've ever seen a comparison with the Fimi, so I can't answer that one. But absolutely, the Zino's pictures. I think, Ron, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's just a video screenshot is all you get, right?
I've never heard any quote expert ever clarify that for us, whether it's actually picture screwing up. But of course, the Fimi is actually a real picture, right?
Yeah.
And I know you don't do a lot of pictures. Have you snapped the Fimi X8 picture to say it's good, bad, average?
Ron, I did take some. Remember the one, there was a flight I did out over the canyon with it, where I wanted to shoot a panorama and it didn't work. So I took some pictures with it. But they must not have been that impressive, or I would have remembered them, right? So
Right.
I guess I don't know.
Good answer.
Well-
Okay, we've been hogging it, Bill. What are your opinions on the little mini?
Well, on the little mini, I gotta say this. Okay, there's some things. The number one for me is portability. I mean, I had this up to Ohio. It was in my overnight bag. Okay, and the case that I got was fantastic for it. And again, I want to thank Barry Markowitz and GPC for letting me have this case. And I gotta say, for the price for this, I think it's $54.95. This is a fantastic case. But the one that DJI gives you is the one that I use because I didn't have that, and it was fantastic. Okay, it was absolutely fantastic. What blew me away was, I think the flight that blew me away was when I came home and Valerie said, it's like tonight was one of those nights, but it was too late. It already got too dark. It was like a great sunset. So literally in 3 minutes, I was up in the air with the Mini, and that just absolutely blew me away. The quality of the video that came back that night, Valerie's looking at it. It's like, wow. I mean, it's just like really, really incredible. Now, Ethan put a comment in here, and I wanted to go ahead and read this. The Mavic Mini footage is crazy, over sharpened, and contrast is cranked up. He's probably right on that. But I got to tell you this, for what you get, the bang for the buck, as they say, can't be beat for this drone for $399 for what you get. And especially if you get the Fly More kit with the 3 extra batteries, the charging bank that you can use as a charger itself. You also get the prop guards, which I think is a must inside. And especially for those brand new drone owners on Christmas morning, yeah, you're going to want those prop guards, whether you're flying inside or outside. That's it. It's a huge thumbs up. It's a huge win for DJI. And this is going to be under a lot of trees this Christmas. That's what I have to say. So a big thumbs up for me on this one, on the Mavic Mini.
Bill, your quote of what Ethan said in the chat there, basically Ethan's right, but also all the things Ethan said is kind of what video on social media is expected to look like.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because people want to see that, especially. But in one of the things that I have to say about that, and that's a good point, Ron, is that Facebook dumbs down stuff big time. Okay, I've taken some fantastic photos with my Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I mean, it's just like night photos, and they're just like popping, and it's just fantastic. You go out on Facebook, and Facebook sometimes dumbs them down a little bit, and it's not as sharp as it really is in real life. So
no doubt. But
yeah,
all the social media, like Instagram, all that stuff, they want that high contrast, over sharpened, oversaturated pictures and video. That's just what's popular there. So I think DJI took that into account. I think they made this drone knowing they were going to, well, not knowing, but thinking they were going to sell it to young people that were doing a lot of social media. So they tuned it for them. But unfortunately,
little did they know it was all old guys like us.
Old guys like that. You have Mark is exactly right.
Well, we're going to break the $500 barrier here. And I know this drone is near and dear to both Ron and Marcus's heart. We're talking about the Parent Anafi. Now, currently it shows at $599 on Amazon. And I know Ethan Mitchell just said, you can get good deals for refurbished ones too. So be on the lookout. And again, these prices that I'm telling that we're talking about, like both Ron and Marcus have said, it's like the stock market. They're going to change, especially now at this time of season. I've had a chance, and I'll go first here because I'll probably talk the least about the Anafi. Is I actually had a chance to fly it, and I actually had a pretty good chance with our good friend Rick Smith when he was in town once. And some of the things I didn't get a chance to see the footage, obviously, because it was his. But one of the things that really impressed me was just the simple act of flying this drone. It could not have been any easier. And the responsiveness of this drone was fantastic. It was quiet. It was nimble. It was quick. I just in the FPV view was fantastic. The app was easy to follow and easy to understand. And and I kept saying something at the time like, boy, I wish DJI would come out with an easier app. Okay. And that's going back to the Mavic Mini. They did come out with an easier app. So my experience with the Anafi is fantastic. It's a drone I would recommend just from my time flying it, even though I didn't record any video. I just think it's a great drone. I think it's easy to use. I think it's a lot of fun. Marcus or Ron, your thoughts?
Ron, go ahead.
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about the Anafi. Bill, you talked about the app. I mean, the app is, on par with the DJI Go 4 app. I mean, people may, they may love the Go 4 app, but the Anafi app lacks nothing or whatever. And I think I like the menu system better. You don't have to dig down as many levels on the Anafi app to get to some of the features that you want. Again, personal opinion, it's all what you like in the interface, but everything's on the app. You're not missing anything off the app. And this is kind of like the pre-mini in the fact that a lot of people said it didn't have, what do they call it? Build quality. It didn't have the build quality of the other drones or whatever, which is also complaining against the Mini. And the propellers are almost a little bit bigger, but they're almost the same style, the way they screw and it kind of flops around, and it doesn't feel as rigid as other DJI type drones. And not even as much. Somebody put a comment on my recent video about the Spark. Even the Spark is small, it was built like a tank, where the the Anafi and the Mini are. But I mean, I'm giving you that. And a lot of people didn't like the fact that the memory card is in like kind of a little like cell phone holder thing from 1999 or whatever. But on the plus is the camera. This is 100 bit rate, just like the Fimi X8. So you're going to get, and it has a log profile, P-log, just like the X8. So you're going to get a video with a lot more information and a lot more flexibility to edit in a high-end editing program like your Premiere Pro and your Final Cut Pro, and there's many other good ones out there too. So and the camera quality, the video quality is HDR, and you has all the manual settings in the world. And I just can't say good enough things. Like Bill said, it flies great. I mean, the Mini flies really good, but this flies really good also. So it flies better than the Zino. The battery life, Ken Donovan was saying this morning, or in his most recent video, he's saying he gets about 17 minutes of actual flight time. I concur. I get anywhere from 17 to 19 minutes of actual flight time. So I can't say enough. If of all, for $599, Marcus and I got a good deal on a refurb, but $599 is still a solid price for this drone, even say a year and a half after it came out. But I've talked too much, so I'm going to throw it to Marcus.
Okay, Ron. Thank you, sir. So Ron pretty much covered 90% of what I would say. Hey, the only other thing that I'm going to add to that, Ron, is I'm trying to remember what they call it in the app. Is it FPV mode or what's the one?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like airplane mode. If you haven't flown your Anafi in that mode yet, you owe it to yourself to do it. It's really fun.
Given the full story that Anafi released a new drone at the end of summer, like the end of August, beginning of September, but they gave the older Anafi all the firmware. They say has almost like 99% of the capabilities of the newer model or whatever.
That's correct. So
Yeah.
Ethan Mitchell said it best in the chat here. It surpasses in the Anafi app in features, surpasses what even like the Mavic 2 Pro gives us. I'm going to go to the only downside that I have with the Anafi. In fact, if I had to pick one drone that I could only have one drone, the Anafi would be one of those that's right up there in the choices. But the downside to it is the Wi-Fi connection, or better said is probably the FPV connection. So often you can still have control of the drone, but you lose FPV. I've had it's subject to Wi-Fi interference is a better way to describe it. So if you're in an urban area, you're going to run into that stuff. Now, if you're out in the country, man, I've had that thing out a couple of kilometers and it's perfect. It's just fine. But the features of that drone, the things like the dolly zoom effect and all the reveal, it'll do you can automate where it'll do a reveal for you automatically. It has digital zoom on it. You know, I'm not like Ethan and Ron. I'm not the greatest photographer in the world, but those kind of automated features really help a guy like me get a decent shot. So can't say enough good about that. So if you've got enough, let me say, if you've got more money than just buying like the Mavic Mini, but you don't have, you know, the $1,200 or $1,400 to buy a Mavic 2, that Anafi is probably the best choice. I'm going to just say it straight out.
So I think we all concur it's a win.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Now we're going to move on here to the only other. Now after this one, we're going to hit the above $1,000 plateau as far as drones are concerned. The DJI Mavic Air. Currently, it's $919 at DJI.com. I did see it for $799 on Amazon. I'm not sure what all is with that.
I think it was on a Black Friday. I think it was on a Black Friday sale for a while, Bill, but now I think it's back to regular price.
I think you're right, Ron. Let me give you, I'll go first here. I did have some time with the Mavic Air, courtesy of Florida Drone Supply. I had it for a couple of weeks. I put it through its paces. The first thing everybody's going to say about this, it's loud. Yes, it is a loud drone, okay? And, those master screw propellers have made a big difference with this as far as the noise is concerned. But putting the noise aside on the Mavic Air, I didn't experience any of the issues that a lot of other people experienced. One of them was, the Wi-Fi and FPV signal. I'm in a heavy urban area here. I mean, I'm with a lot of houses and a lot of, electronics going on, and I really didn't have any issues with that. It was very easy to fly. The one thing that really kind of stood out to me, it was fast. I mean, it was like very, very fast. And now that's before I had the Mavic 2 Pro, and it really kind of jumped out at me. The video quality was excellent. Still photography was great. The quick shots worked perfectly. There wasn't any issues with that. The return to home, precision landing with that was spot on. Didn't have any kind of issues with that. My whole thing about my experience with that was, I like the size of it. I like the portability of it. It was that darn noise from those ESCs. I mean, and the rotors. I mean, and I know Rick Smith did an in-depth thing on the noise on the Mavic Air and why it's like that is, and definitely want to check that video out. But for me, it's a win. But okay, I think there's probably going to be a Mavic Air 2 around the corner, probably in 2020 sometime. So, gentlemen, your thoughts.
Hey, Ron, I'll go first, and I'll let you have the final word. So I owned the Mavic Air for a while. I had it actually in between the original Mavic and the Mavic 2, and I liked it. It was a feature-rich, nice drone. Like you, Bill, I didn't have a lot of Wi-Fi problems with it that I know a lot of people have said they have, and I believe them. I'm just saying I didn't have those issues. But the sound, like you said, was annoying as heck. But what I'm going to say is the problem with the Mavic Air now is it's a tweener. The price point is high enough that it's not that much of a step up to the Mavic 2, which is a far superior product. And then if you want the same features that the Mavic Air provides, you can buy an Anafi much cheaper, and the Anafi probably does some things better than the Mavic Air. So the Mavic Air is a good product. I just think at its price point, it's not a great value. Ron.
Marcus stole my thunder here. That's perfect mindset. Like if I was shopping today and I saw that $919 price, and I think this morning I still saw somebody had the Mavic 2 Pro for $1,379. I'm going to come up with that extra $400 and get the Mavic 2 Pro every time, right, Marcus? Like you said, the tweeter factor, whatever,
No doubt about it. Or like Ethan said, the Evo, the Autel Evo.
Right, for just what? Well, actually, I saw the Evo. Somebody had the Evo on coupon for $9.29 today. So for the Evo, you get, you don't have the you don't deal with the kind of like the flaky Wi-Fi FPV that you guys didn't get, but some people do. Whatever. Yeah, if I wanted a Wi-Fi, a top level Wi-Fi drone with a good camera, I would just save the money and get the Navi for $5.99.
Hey, let me throw this at you guys. So we've established that the Mavic Air is a good product. It's just price. So if it was at $5.99, boy, we'd all be screaming about what a great deal it is. But at $9.19, yeah.
Yeah, even if it was at $7.99, even if it was $7.99, then it's sort of pushed back to the middle again or whatever. Maybe if it was even $6.99, it would be the one to get. Or how about Marcus when it was $5.29 last summer at what store was it? Target.
It was at Target, yeah. And I looked all over and never found one.
Then it's definitely a good buy.
Yeah.
But Bill, we'll throw it back to you again.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one. And this is one I actually had some time to fly. It's the Autel Evo. Currently, it's $1,049 at Best Buy. And I know, Ron, you just mentioned it was under $1,000 somewhere else. I'll get your thoughts and I'll go ahead and close because I know I actually had some stick time with the Evo. What about you guys?
So I only know it by reputation, Bill. I've never even seen one live and in person. But from everything I hear from people like Ethan and Ryan Duvall, they love them. And Ken Dono gives it a great review. So and at that $1,000 price point, feature wise, it sure seems right. Ron?
Well, I have seen it live at Best Buy on the other side of the glass. but never in the air. But I totally agree with Marcus. I haven't heard one person say a bad word about the Evo. Who this morning, I watched somebody's video where they said it has the best video right out of the camera without doing anything with it. Again, I almost never heard anybody say a bad word about the Evo. The Evo's only problem is it came out only a month or two before the Mavic 2 Pro. So it came out, and then just a short time later, one in sensor drone was out in somewhat the same price category. So Autel was just they're kind of late to the game with their features. Even if they're ahead only for a short amount of time. Then they're behind all that other time. So let's hope I don't want to talk about drones aren't here yet, but maybe the Autel Evo 2 will put them out ahead far enough that they won't be caught and passed quickly. But I'll throw it back to Bill.
Hey, Bill, Ethan has got some really good comments in the.
Right, I was just going to say that.
Okay, good.
I was just going to say that. Evo also has a wider lens than the Mavic 2 Pro, so it does great with wide shots. Evo 4K 60 non-profile looks great straight out of the camera. Yeah. A couple things I'm going to say. I had some stick time with the Evo, and it was courtesy of our good friend again, Mr. Rick Smith. For things that it's a heavy drone. I mean, it's a physically heavy drone. I mean, comparing especially to the Mavic 2 series, it's very heavy. It's very beefy as far as that's concerned. Okay. It was very easy to fly. I mean, super easy to fly. The app was easy to understand. I mean, the controller was great. I like what Autel did with having the controller with the screen built in and everything. I thought they did a stellar job with that. Maneuverability on this was great. I had absolutely no problems with it. Again, I didn't get to see any video from it, but it was easy to maneuver, and I really liked my stick time with it. Now, what I can tell you from experience with Autel, because I had an X-Star Premium, okay, and they referred to those as the orange pumpkin. That was the nickname for the X-Star Premium, and it looked like a Mavic, or it looked like a Phantom 4 Pro, okay, is what it looked like. Autel makes great hardware, and I think Ethan will probably agree with me 100% on that. Their hardware is coming out of the gate is super. It's fantastic. You can't find any fault with the hardware. The big issue with Autel has always been their software. For example, with the X-Star Premium, and I know Ken Dono will agree with me 100%, The software updates didn't take days or weeks, they took months. Okay. And before the XStar Premium was done with, the last firmware update that came out was a beta that never became official for that. Okay. So, but they did have some growing pains with the Evo. I do know that, and because I know Ken pretty well. And, there was they had a horizon tilt issue. And I think Ethan probably knows about that as well. And they had to do a lot of tweaking software wise. But I think Autel has taken giant leaps and strides over what they did from before. Okay. As far as, yeah, Ethan, exactly. They've taken incredible leaps in terms of their software, in terms of the capabilities. They're addressing customer concerns immediately. They're not letting them go. I know Ken has been very active and proactive with them, and he's really helped, believe it or not. He's gotten a lot of things taken care of with the Evo. The Evo is a great buy. I know DeMarco stated it was $9.99 at B&H with a couple of batteries. Okay. It's a great deal. Okay. And if you want to get one, I'd go for it. I would not recommend it. Now, this comes on the heels of us talking about the Evo 2, but remember, okay, that was just the FCC Grant ID database. It has not been officially released yet. And as everyone has famously said, and I think I first heard it with Original Dobo, Ken, he said, the best drone is the one that you own. So, if this is a drone that appeals to you, or you want to give this as a gift, I give it a thumbs up. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to move on here to a couple of other ones. And I know these are ones that are near and dear to our hearts because I know we use them an awful lot. We're going to first talk about the Mavic 2 Zoom. Currently, it's $1429 at DJI.com. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go up to the Mavic 2 Pro. Now, it's currently on sale for $1329. It's normally $1729 at DJI.com. Ron or Marcus, your thoughts?
Go ahead, Ron.
Well, it's, through the Bill, the drone reviewer here, he helped me purchase this drone back in the spring. And he also, convinced me to get smart controller with it. And it's probably the best purchase I've ever made in the drone world. I know it was a lot of money, but you get your bang for your buck. Even though it costs a lot, for what you get in performance and the video and the photos you get out of it, I think it more than makes up for that price. Again, I'd call it a value for the features you get out of it. It's a great flyer. It handles a strong wind, has great distance, great signal strength. Again, I know some people have some minor gripes about it, but I really don't have a complaint. And team with smart controller, it's maybe the best thing you can buy out there in the consumer field or whatever. Marcus?
Yeah. So Ron, the only time I have with the Mavic 2 Pro, of course, was flying yours in Texas, and I got to get my hands just very briefly on that smart controller. And wow, what an advantage that is. That is just an awesome piece of technology. So I'm just going to say right now, if you're buying a Mavic 2, spring for the smart controller. You won't regret it. But I have the Mavic 2 Zoom, and it is quite simply the best operating, best flying drone I have ever known, period, bar none. It is the top of the heap for me. I wish that I had, honestly, I wish I could have both. And with that sale that they threw up the other day, I was thinking, well, God, I ought to buy that Pro and get the smart controller with it. Then I could use it on both drones. But the problem is I don't fly my Zoom enough. So yeah. But anyway, I mean, the Mavic 2, whether it's the Zoom or whether it's the Pro, it just really is the top of the heap as far as a prosumer drone goes. And I guess the best way to describe that is a lot of pros use that in their, they're getting away from the Phantoms and they're using the Mavic 2. And, having seen the things that you two have done with pictures with the camera on that Mavic Pro, it just blows me away. It's amazing. I want to throw one other thing in there, though. Ethan Mitchell brought it up. The thing that you do have to deal with on the Mavic Pro that you may not like on the Evo, etc., is the no-fly zones. And I know that's very frustrating for people when they're doing professional shoots where they're trying to get in someplace and they have to keep getting approvals to fly someplace. But other than that, top of the heap as far as I'm concerned. Bill?
Well, I'll throw in my 2 cents worth because that's probably about all it's worth. But no, from the onset, the being at the launch event in Brooklyn with all the who's who from drone reviewers and getting a chance to be some of the first people to see it hands on and see it out and perform, and then getting it. And I think one of the when Ron and I met, and when we went out for dinner and then went to the beach with Susan and Valerie, I think that was some of the best aerials that I've gotten with that. And the color on that, the water, the sunset. I took some hyperlapses with it. That video still resonates with me to this day, how great that was. And then I took one of a golden sunset. And I mean, it was an absolute golden sunset. I got it up in time. And it was just one of those ones that it's all about the moment. And I think, being a photographer or an amateur photographer, it's timing. Timing is everything. And I got that up there, and it's just incredible. It's done everything I've asked of it and more. The smart controller, and I know some people, Lauren pointed out it doesn't do third-party apps. And I also know that the DJI Go 4 app, there's a procedure you have to go through to get that updated on there. But I'll tell you what, when you're out here in the sun, especially being down here in Florida, okay, that it is incredible what you can see out in the sun with the smart controller here. And having that on here has it's been nothing but a win. But I have to also say this before we move on here. Okay, the Mavic 2 Pro right now is at $1,329. It's $400 off. It's a Black Friday sale price. If you're even possibly considering purchasing this as a Christmas gift for someone, do it now. I mean, before the Black Friday sale is over. I mean, this is a crazy price. I mean, DJI is knocking $400 off it. And if you wanted to combo it with a smart controller, that's also a great price as well too. So that's something I would highly recommend.
Hey, Bill, before you move on, can I interject something in there?
You sure can.
Well, when Bill, we spoke about us flying together in Remington Beach back last spring, I was flying the original Mavic Pro, and Bill was flying the Mavic. The Mavic Pro 2. And at one point, we had our drones in the same spot in the air, and I looked at his screen and I saw how much brighter his picture was. He didn't have the smart controller back then; he just had the dumb controller. But that 1-inch sensor could capture so much more light. When my picture was a little too dark, he still had, I won't say twice as much. I don't know what measurement, but I could see that 1-inch sensor was taking a much more light than my 1 2/3 sensor was taking. And right then and there, I knew that I needed that 1-inch sensor because I do a lot of, dusk, low light photography. So just standing by Bill that night, made my mind up.
Well, we got 2 more, and these are what I'll call the honorable mentions here. All right.
Okay.
As far as that's concerned, and I know all 3 of us have owned this one right here. It's the DJI Spark. Now, currently it's $399 at B&H Photo, and I know some places are having some crazy sales on this. I know if you can still find it at Walmart, I think it was $199. And I got to say this. I'll go ahead first, and then I'll let you guys go. First thing I want to say about I thought it was a great drone for the price, for the value. At the point in time that it came out, I thought it was a great value. Okay. I think it's usurped now, definitely by the Mini, without any question. But I got to say this, Ron, that was a fantastic comparison video you did with the Mavic Mini and the Spark, the footage from both. It was clear who the winner was with that. And then I'll let you guys go ahead.
Well, one of the commenters on the video you're talking about that I put out recently, he did make a good point that, we talked about the build quality of the Mavic Mini. Well, that Spark's built like a tank. That Spark's built like it's a small Phantom 4 or Mavic Mavic Pro. I mean, that thing is solid, however, and I mentioned about how everybody complained the Spark didn't have the folding arms, and it doesn't, but by that thing is built like a tank, that would probably take a much better crash in this. But yeah, I would recommend the Mini over the Spark all day. When I flew them back to back, I never realized that the Spark had as much crabbing in it, whether it didn't fly anywhere as precise as the Mini did. And I'm not knocking the Spark either. I had the Spark from the get-go. It was one of my favorite drones, still a good drone. And, it has a lot more camera settings in it. A few things it does have that the Mini doesn't. But again, I wouldn't advise anybody to get Spark over the Mini unless they were getting the Spark for some unbelievable low price. Marcus?
Yeah, so the Spark, what I will say about it is it does have more features than the Mini, right? It's got front-facing obstacle avoidance. It's the automated features on it are a little bit better and more sophisticated. But beyond that, it's just exactly what Ron said. The flight controls just are not in the same league with the Mavic Mini. It flies good, but it does do a little bit of crabbing. I've noticed that as well. It does, and then the battery life. We need to talk about that. It has one of the most frustrating things for me about the Spark is I enjoyed flying it, but just as I was getting up and I was getting into flying it and getting on a subject, you'd get that low battery and you'd have to bring it back. And of course, it was easy to switch batteries and get it back up in the air. But the Mini just takes it a level above, and it's probably the one now. That said, if you can find a good deal on a Spark, it's still a great drone. But it's just been usurped by newer technology, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Bill?
Well, I think you guys both nailed that on the head. Now, the last drone that we're going to talk about tonight, we all have owned this drone. We've all flown this drone. It's the Phantom 4 Pro, or the version of the Phantom 4. Currently, right now, the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 shows 1729 at DJI.com, but it's obviously it's showing not in stock. And trying to get a 2.0 right now, good luck trying to find it. You probably got to go to eBay to do that. So I'll close. Let you guys go ahead and pontificate on the Phantom 4.
You want me to go, Ron?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Okay, so the Phantom 4, who cannot love that drone, right? Whenever I bought mine used and got a screaming deal on it, and actually have since sold it, and actually sold it for more than what I bought it for. But whenever I flew that thing, I felt like I was flying a big boy drone, right? I mean, it flew really nice with all of the DJI quality that we're used to. The biggest disappointment for me with the Phantom 4 was props in the picture. Man, you really had to be careful to keep the props out of your picture. And a lot of guys, if you watch the really good flyers, they would literally fly backwards to avoid that, and did really good. Barry Markowitz is a good Phantom 4 guy. He's in the house right now, as is Chris Hope. Chris Hope is an expert on that Phantom 4. But anyway, that's my experience with it. And, sad to see it go, but we just have better technology now. Ron?
Like Marcus, I only owned the original Phantom 4. I bought it new when it kind of came out. It was my first real drone outside of a couple toy drones, and I still have it. I still love the drone. I mean, I think it still flies great, and good battery life. The camera. I mean, for its age, the camera's still good on it. I mean, I know it's on a 1-inch sensor, but you don't always need a 1-inch sensor. I wouldn't say, I don't know if I'd recommend it right now. I mean, of course you really can't buy it new, but not as a gift, but just for yourself. If you could get one at a good price on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, or wherever you buy your used gear at, I definitely still recommend it. Not a good travel drone, of course, but if you're the type of person that does most of your drone flying, from the trunk of your car or the back of your car, that doesn't make any difference. So I love the Phantom 4, still have it, still would charge up, take it out every once in a while, and Yeah. So I recommend it, but not as a holiday gift, just because you really can't buy a new. Bill.
Well, as far as my experience is concerned, it's been absolute. I'm going to echo exactly what you guys say. For me, it has been an incredible drone. I think, at the time it came out with the technology that is in it, it is absolutely fantastic. I got the V2.0 because it has OcuSync 2.0, and believe it or not, I still have the beta version that I was testing on the smart controller, and it works with the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, and that made it. I mean, just flying it with a smart controller was absolutely great. Marcus is right about props in the shots. That can be problematic. A lot of times it's a case of speed, so you need to kind of like gear things down when you do speed, or maybe adjust the gimbal settings just a little bit, tweak them a little bit, or like you said, go backwards as far as that's concerned. I think one of the only things that this drone does that we haven't seen yet, but I think we will see probably in 2020, the mechanical shutter. There's a lot to be said for having a mechanical shutter on a drone. The Phantom 4 Pro does have that, and I think we'll see it in 2020 as far as that's concerned. All right, we talked about a lot of drones tonight, guys. All right, so let's kind of boil things down here. I mean, we saw, let's say 500 and under, 1,000 and under, and above 1,000. Okay, what are your recommendations in each of those categories, guys?
500 and under. As much as I love my Zino and the Fimi, of course, it's the Mavic Mini. And you said under 1,000 and over 1,000. Were those the other two categories?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah, so under 1,000, that's another easy one. That's going to be the Parrot-Anafi, and over $1,000, the Mavic 2 Pro, of course. So yeah, those were all easy.
Oh, I'm just gonna echo, or I'm gonna repeat Marcus. I'm like in school, I'm copying Marcus here. The Mini for the under 500, and for a Christmas gift. If you didn't own any drone or whatever, and it's for yourself, maybe the Fimi X8 for about the same price, but for a gift, for something under the tree, the little Mini, for under 1,000, I'm gonna say the Anafi, because it's so far under 1,000. But I guess at the top end, if you can get that Evo for less than 1,000, it's a big difference between 600 and almost 1,000. Let's say 999. So I'm saying the Zino, but close second is the Evo if you have that extra, $400 in your pocket. And at the high end, of course, the Mavic 2 Pro, or the Zoom, if you don't really care about the 1-inch sensor and whatever. And Bill mentioned the mechanical shutter before, and that's a thing more for like people that are doing mapping and professionals, whatever. Most people that are shoot consumer, whatever, really don't need a mechanic. I mean, like when I went digital on my real cameras, whatever, I gave up mechanical shutter years ago and never missed it, because again, I don't do any like professional style stuff that you need that or whatever. But I'm going to throw it back to Bill.
All right, for me, the definitely 500 under. That's a slam dunk. The Mavic Mini, no questions asked. I think you're going to see unbelievable amount under Christmas trees this year for sure, without a doubt. The 1,000 and under, again, it's another slam dunk. It's the Parrot-Anafi. My experience with the Anafi, I would love to get one. The way it flies, the way it handles the app, everything, I was just unbelievably impressed with that. Okay. And over 1,000, that's a slam dunk for me. The Mavic 2 Pro, it does everything you ask of it, and then more, and especially at the price that it's at right now, guys, if you're even hesitating or thinking about it, don't even hesitate. Go get it right now. At that kind of a price, that's an absolute steal. Now, and I'm also going to put a plug in for the Phantom 4 Pro. If you guys can find it, it does a lot of things out there. And I know G-Boy 185 is a good friend of mine. He talks about, taking some, just some of the things and the capabilities that you have with it versus some of the other drones. When it's darker outside, the color profiles, everything. And I know some people who are more experts on it For me, that's going to be a drone you're going to have to literally pry my cold dead hands off of to maybe part ways with it. I really like it. My only caveat with that is the portability on that. That's not a drone I'm going to be taking up to Ohio with me anytime soon. Gentlemen, that kind of wraps things up tonight. I want to thank everybody who was in the chat tonight. We have 62 people out there. Thank you guys so much. I see we only have 18 likes. So if you want to do both Ron and Marcus a huge favor, is slam that like button before you guys leave, because it helps them as well. I mean, they put on a great show on Monday night called ZinoNation. It's at 9:00 Eastern. You guys definitely need to check it out. And if you haven't checked out Ron or Marcus's channel, there's links in the description. You guys need to check their channels out. Ron did a fantastic video on the Mavic Mini and Spark. That was great. Marcus has done just some tremendous videos with the Mavic Mini. He's recently did one with the Zino. He's on the firmware update. You need to check out their channels. They do incredible work, guys. Everybody that was here tonight, Tony Faz, Chris Hope, Mel, DeMarco, Lauren, Mike Kinney, Ethan Mitchell, Tony Faz, Scouts Honor. I know Josh was here from Parks and Tech. Brian from True Drone Reviews. Barry Markowitz was here. G-Boy 185, good friend. 3X Drones was here. Brad Hendo was here. Scouts Honor, Mike Kinney. Just a great crew of guys. Thank you all. Thank you, Mike, so much. What we have coming up, and I want to make sure that people are aware of this. We're going to be having our Days of Christmas, and Ron and Marcus are going to be involved with that as well. So we're going to have some fun with that. And Valerie's going to be sitting here with me. We're going to have music. We're going to have lights, and we're going to have some fun giveaways. I'm going to be giving away T-shirts, going to be giving away mugs, going to be giving away hats, and I have gift cards that I'm going to be giving away as well. So you guys want to stay tuned for that. Don't miss it. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, spread some good cheer. And this is what the season is all about. And remember, it's, as they say, it's better to give than receive. And I know it's a joy for me to do that. So guys, closing thoughts.
Well, geez, this was a great show, Bill, and you brought up some good drones. Daniel Taramina is reminding us about the Unique Manus G. That is a drone that you can buy at Best Buy. I don't think any of the three of us have any experience with it, so we have really not much to say about it. But got great show, and Ron.
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, a great lineup of drones tonight, Bill. And, Marcus did mention the Unique drones. You can purchase them at Best Buy. I mean, I was in Best Buy just on Monday, and they have the Manus Q and the big Hexacop one in display case. They don't have the new G on display yet, at least the one I went to. They didn't even have the Mini at the Best Buy I went to, but I did see the Mini in the Apple Store an hour or so before that at the mall. But it was a great lineup of drones. But I think you really helped anybody who had any issues deciding what drone to get for somebody on their list that wanted a camera drone. So I think that was you really covered it from the beginning of the price range all the way up to the top end. So kudos to Bill, and I'll throw it back to Bill to close the show out.
Well, as always, this show is really made by having Ron and Marcus on here. These guys are not only great friends, they're extremely knowledgeable. They both have great channels, and definitely check them out. Don't even think about not subscribing to their channels. They put out some great content. So, again, we're coming up on the end of the year. Probably the last show of the season. We'll probably do it a week before. I haven't figured that date out. But what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun that night. But, we're just going to kind of wrap up 2019. It's finishing with the kind of a bang here with everything that's going on. And, we'll try to kind of do a year-end wrap up and, give our thoughts on things and have some fun that night. So,
hey, Bill, could you do a top 5 drones that night?
We could do that, Ron. That sounds fantastic. I like that idea. We're going to do top 5 drones on the last show of Rotor Talk Live for the season. So be sure to watch for that. Be sure to watch for announcement about our Days of Christmas coming up. We're going to have a lot of fun. Get to see Valerie here. I know a lot of you tune in just to see my wife on the show. So she will be here literally with her bells on and her Christmas lights. We're going to wear our Christmas lights again here this year. So everybody, thanks so much. And remember, it's a great day to fly, everybody. Take care. Have a great rest of your evening.
Good night.